Hello again, everyone. It is Christmas morning, and we are starting the day with breakfast at IJO Bakery in Santa Rosa, Laguna. Thank you for tuning in to part 2 of our Manila 2025 trip, where we'll share with you our travels to, among other places, Tagaytay and Boracay. But first, look at these pastries, where for a moment I thought I was in a bakery in France or Italy. They serve all sorts of sweet and savory pastries like that tuna melt right up there, and this cheese tart for 165 pesos. And right underneath that cheese tart is a croissant with sliced melted cheese on top. That looks really good. And I love how they have Filipino inspired pastries like this bibingka tart. I definitely had my eyes set on this croissant bread pudding because bread pudding, after all, is one of my all-time favorite desserts. So we definitely had to get one of those. On the other side, towards the end there, are more pastries like this pain au chocolat and the traditional croissants right there. Look at all those layers. A big thanks to my cousin Loida for introducing us to this amazing bakery. After breakfast at the bakery, we headed to the Caleruega Church, which was about 39 kilometers or about 24 miles west from the bakery. But because of the traffic, man, it took us a couple of hours to get here. But I say it was worth it. This is considered a retreat, among other things, and I can tell based on the beautiful gardens all around us. Definitely a nice place to spend family time. And there's also this hanging bridge that we definitely had to try. It was shaky and a little scary, and I was so glad though to have made it to the other side after walking through what seemed like a very long path to get to the other side. Well, I was happy until I realized, once I got to the other side, that the only way to get back was to get on it again. On our way out, we checked out some of the local vendors nearby and bought some fruits. We then headed to Tagaytay for lunch by the famous, or the infamous, if it's not behaving, Taal Lake. So excited to be here at Leslie's to enjoy, among other things, like this beautiful view, their famous bulalo or beef shank broth, which is literally food for the soul. And we were also serenaded by a group of talented singers who I thought were so good. So let's hear them sing and relive the moment.
Pasko na naman, ngunit wala ka pa. Hanggang kailan kaya ako maghihintay sa'yo? Bakit ba naman kailangan lumisan pa? Ang tanging hangad ko lang ay makapiling ka. Sana ngayong Pasko ay maalala mo pa rin ako. Hinahanap-hanap pag-ibig mo. At kahit wala ka na, nangangarap at umaasa pa rin ako. Muling makita ka at makasama ka sa araw ng Pasko. Sana ngayong Pasko ay maalala mo pa rin ako. Hinahanap-hanap ang ibig mo. At kahit wala ka na, nangangarap at umaasa pa rin ako. Muling makita ka at makasama ka
right, back to Manila, but only for a very brief moment because we are at Terminal 2 of NAIA to head to Boracay. You know, I can't believe that this was my first time in Boracay after having visited the Philippines over the last 2 decades. We took an Air Asia flight, which did not even take an hour before we were walking on tarmac for several minutes into a super tiny airport with one carousel to pick up our luggage. Alright, for those watching who have not been to Boracay, when you land on Caticlan Airport, which is located on an adjacent island, there are several steps to your journey to get to Boracay itself. After picking up your luggage, you head outside to get to one of the kiosks to avail of your prearranged ride, if you made one. We are staying at a Hennan Resort, so we got their shuttle service. After checking in at the Hennan kiosk, we were assigned to a van. I believe there's transportation there as well if you have not pre-booked the ride. The van ride took just a few minutes through town to the Hennan Welcome Center. The drivers were super nice and helped us with our luggage. But for some reason I thought the Welcome Center would be more lively, people handing out cold drinks, maybe there's a little bit of music, some finger foods, more welcoming. But I don't know what I was expecting. It was a nice quiet place though. We then headed out not too long after towards the rear of the building and onto an awaiting boat to take us to Boracay. I would say the boat ride itself took about 15, maybe 20 minutes. It wasn't too long. The ride was bumpy, I will say, but nothing to be concerned about. It was a small boat after all, so we were bound to feel the waves beneath us. We finally got to Boracay Island and walked through a maze of vans and onto our assigned transport to take us to Hennan Garden Resort, where we were going to stay for the next few nights. Thank you. After about 15 minutes on the van, we finally arrived at the Hennan Garden Resort, located in Station 2. We got there around 5 p.m. and we checked in. We booked the resort months ago, directly via the Hennan website, and prepaid the entire reservation. I'm usually hesitant about prepaying anything because plans can change, but it seems pretty usual because when we book hotels or resorts in the Caribbean, we do have to pay in advance. No. I wanted, I didn't get a room. Okay, it's time for a room tour. Now, we booked 3 rooms here at the resort, and they are all pretty much laid out the same. This is the grand room on the 5th floor. No, unfortunately, we didn't choose a direct pool access, which in hindsight we should have, but perhaps for the next time. This grand room has 2 beds. One is a queen size and the other is a single bed, and both are super comfortable. Now, this glass window into the bathroom is a little strange to me, but there is a pull-down curtain on the other side for privacy. The bathroom is pretty nice with a standalone shower, a sink there, and a tub. And here I am looking for a way to close this curtain, and I was able to pull down the string and the curtain comes down so we can have a little bit of privacy. There's a toilet and a bidet gun, and as I mentioned earlier, a standalone shower with a pretty decent water pressure. Looking out the balcony, we have a nice view of the pools downstairs and the surrounding skyline. No beach views, unfortunately, but the beach is not a far walk from the resort. I didn't show it here, but there is a small refrigerator in our room. No microwave though, which would have been nice and handy to heat up leftovers. After a day of travel, we were hungry, so we had dinner nearby at Christina's at Hennan Regency. which primarily served Italian food. And a big bonus with that restaurant was that it was air conditioned. We had pasta, we had drinks and dessert. It was a nice way to close out the day. We were super excited to enjoy our first full day in Boracay, and today we have an excursion that I don't think I've heard of before today, although I know it's something done in many places around the world, and that is helmet diving. So we catch an e-trike or electric tricycle on the main road because apparently it is more costly if we board an e-trike waiting on a side street like where the entrance to our resort is. Very odd. And we thought it best to get a waterproof bag on the boat, so we got a large one and a small one for 900 pesos for both of them, or about 15 US dollars, from one of the vendors along the way. And this guy, super friendly, was trying to get us to eat a seafood meal, but we were like, we just ate breakfast, so maybe later. Not too long later, we are headed out to a boat which will take us to a platform further out to do the helmet diving. I love these floating bridges right here, which in a way is like an amusement ride in itself. It took us just a few minutes to get to the platform where a guy would explain the rules and regulations to make sure everyone is safe. Helmet diving is an underwater experience where you wear a helmet filled with air and the helmet rests on your shoulders. The helmet has a tube and it is attached to a tank on the platform above. I think the helmet is heavy enough so it allows you to sink to the bottom about 15 feet or so and see coral and other marine life. Now, I didn't do the dive myself this time, but it was enough for me to watch Maricel and Nathan experience this fun activity.
Why? Yeah, I know. Because I don't know. It's like not good for
So, remember that guy who was trying to get us to have a seafood meal before we left for the excursion? Well, when we got back on shore from the helmet diving, he ran to us and he was like, "Ready to eat now?" So we were like, "You know what? Sure, let's see what you have." So he took us to this fresh seafood restaurant where we picked what we wanted to eat from a variety of different kinds of local seafood like squid, fish, clams, and mussels. And they prepared a super delicious meal for us. This place is called Hungry Crab, and we had clam soup and buttered shrimp, roasted clams, and calamari. It was a feast of deliciousness, and we were full to the brim. It was so good. In the early evening of the same day of the helmet diving, we checked out the mall and window shopped around some of the stores. I wasn't quite hungry for dinner after that big seafood fest earlier, so we just had dessert at Ube Mama. It was essentially ube ice cream in a bowl with a bit of ube in there, some sticky rice balls, cornflakes, and more ube shavings. It was pretty good and we enjoyed it.
Sarap. What do you think? Good.
The following day, we are out again for another excursion, and this time we are doing island hopping. So, like yesterday, we hopped back on an e-trike and headed to the port excursions area. We waited on the beach for about an hour or so before getting on the boat, which was odd, I thought, given that we were given a time to arrive. Maybe it's not abnormal, and things do happen. So, the important thing was that we got on the boat with about 20 or so other passengers and headed to our first stop, which was Puka Shell Beach, located in the northern area of Boracay Island. And Puka Shell Beach is beautiful. Just look at that water. After Puka Shell Beach, we got back on the boat and traveled to another part of the island and was able to have the opportunity to just take a dip in the waters around us. Marine life, maybe some coral. It was very refreshing. After a nice swim, we did work up an appetite, so it was timely to head to lunch. We were taken to a buffet spot. There was some pancit, some rice, fish, chicken, as well as some fruits. The food was so-so, not bad, and it filled us up. After lunch, we walked around a bit, and I think LMJ is the name of the tour company, which also owns the boat we were on. And it's also super interesting that this place is right next to this huge electrical station. It was a bit of a hike to get back to the boat, which was the same route we took to get to lunch, not to mention the very uneven and rocky walking terrain. But hey, we needed to work off that big lunch, so we were all good. Our last stop was Crystal Cove Island, where after we got on shore, the tour guide said that there was an additional fee of something like $5 per person to go into the cove. At this point, we were all kind of tired and we wanted to go back, but staying on the boat wasn't an option because, as you see right there, the boats, after dropping people off, go several feet offshore, so you can't hang out there. A little weird, I thought, to be honest, but hey, we had some halo halo, so all good. We are finally headed back to Station 2 where we boarded, so we were super glad for that. What I liked about this particular excursion was being able to see other parts of the Boracay Island and swimming in crystal clear waters. I wasn't too thrilled about the boat ride itself, probably because I was sitting at the very rear of the boat and I was just inhaling the boat exhaust the entire time. Oh, and the extra fees to see further into Crystal Cove, and even that segment where I was in the water right off the boat cost money. Not a whole lot, but it was just unexpected. Overall, though, it was fun, but I would certainly explore other excursion options in the future. After freshening up a bit and resting, we headed out to dinner. It was a little late, I think close to 8 p.m., but we were looking forward to a nice hearty meal. We checked out Kuya J's, located next to our resort at the Azalea Hotels and Residences, and we looked at the menu and it all looked so good. Well, that is if they still had them. Late na tayo. Sige ma.
Kasi bata po, wala rin po kami. Wala po.
Bulalo.
Yeah, wala po ma'am. All fried chicken ma'am, wala po kaming available. The rest po tatlo to, wala po. Wala po.
Wala kang spaghetti.
Wala po, sir. Lahat po dito, wala po kaming available. Ito po. Wala po. Ito lang yung available po namin. Yung fried. Wala po kaming available. Wala po, sir. Wala po. Lahat po dito, wala po kaming available. Wala po.
All right, I was a bit dramatic there because our server was actually very helpful despite not having many of the popular dishes. We enjoyed some pork sinigang or sour soup, pinakbet, which was a vegetable dish with okra, kalabasa or gourd, some pampalaya in it or bitter melon, and we had some crispy fried pork belly and of course some rice. It was a very delicious meal and we were all very satisfied in the end. This is our last day in Boracay and we leave a bit later on in the morning, but before we head out, I'd like to share with you the breakfast buffet at the Hennan Garden Resort. There's plenty of options there that you just saw, some veggies, tocino, bulgogi, and that was roscaldo or congee or rice pudding with all the toppings. There's an omelette station, and around the corner, more savory items like fried eggs. Right in this area in front of me are the breads, croissants, regular pandesal, and ube pandesal, some dollar pancakes, and delicious pastries like fruit danishes and champurrado right there, or chocolate porridge, one of my absolute faves, and some fruit down the line. The breakfast was really good, and the staff was unbelievably helpful and friendly, and was able to accommodate food allergies, so 5 stars to them. And we had to get some calamansi muffins from this coffee shop. Calamansi is a Philippine lime used like lemons in the States. The muffins were moist and not too dense, sufficiently sweet. It kind of reminded me of a lemon muffin or maybe a lemon loaf, but not quite as heavy. All good and fun things, of course, must come to an end. Boracay was a super fun experience, and now I see why it is so popular with tourists and locals alike. Station 2 was a very busy place. Next time, we'd likely stay in a quieter area like Station 1 in areas in the northern part of the island. Goodbye, Boracay. Until the next time. We were back in Manila, and once we got settled, we checked out Gentle Monster. There was a line to get into the store, likely so that they are able to manage the crowd, since the area was just buzzing with people as preparations for New Year's were underway. I was here in 2024 because I was mesmerized by this giant statue. We tried on a few sunglasses. I love how they fit on me. So yeah, we bought a couple of them, or not. The next day, we hung out with Maricel's cousins, the Corpus family. Although we see each other on Facebook every now and then, in person, it has been 10 years. So it was so heartwarming to see them again. We had lunch at Tanglad in BGC, and of course, the food was abundant and delicious, most likely so because we were with great company. Bulalo, or beef shank soup, if you recall from earlier, is one of my favorite Filipino dishes that... Wait, what just happened there? Good gosh, say it, don't spray it, man. Sorry about that. I was gonna say, I really enjoyed the soup. After lunch, we headed to Venice Grand Canal Mall. Let's check out the sights and the shops of this little piece of Italy in the Philippines.
Welcome to Venezia.
It's the morning of New Year's Eve here, the last day of 2025, and we are counting down by first having breakfast at Emerald on Rojas Boulevard. We took a 20-minute grab ride to the restaurant, which was a super quick drive given that it's a holiday. We were fueling ourselves on some siopao for a trip to the Mall of Asia after we eat.
Morning.
Emerald is a fairly popular Chinese and Filipino restaurant, and they're famous for, among other things, their siopaos. And look at those giant siopaos they have right there. Apparently, you have to order those in advance.
Di pa ako nakakita na ganyan kalaki.
We ordered some siopaos, of course, but not those giant ones, just the normal palm-sized ones for breakfast. We also ordered a few other side dishes like shrimp dumplings, nothing too heavy, and then we went onto our grab to head to the Mall of Asia. We finally make it to the biggest mall in the Philippines, and from what I understand, among the biggest in the world. It is pretty overwhelming, and once you're in there, you can easily get lost, in my opinion. We tackled this beast of a mall store by store. Well, not every store, but like this one called KKV, which originated from China. The store sells all kinds of very colorful things like toys, hobbies, candy, office supplies, you name it. There's a lot of options. And I actually bought a Row Life book nook for about 22 US dollars, and it's double that on Amazon in the States. Our next stop is Pop Mart, another popular brand that brought us the very popular Labubus. Bella wanted to check out some unique items here, and there were a lot of them for sure. Looking at the shelves full of all kinds of figurines from popular cartoons and anime, it was very interesting and overwhelming all at the same time.
Is this what you're looking for? Like stuff?
Marcel got a couple of prescription eyeglasses from Jin's. 182 US dollars for two single vision with blue light protection done in under 30 minutes. It was super amazing. We then checked out a couple more stores and then had a late lunch. Okay, this is our last day, and BGC, it's been about 2 weeks since we arrived here. We enjoyed Christmas, we enjoyed New Year's, even though we slept through all the fireworks, but we really enjoyed staying here at BGC. You could see we're right in front of Mitsukoshi Mall, and there's the Grand Hyatt. We did go to Mitsukoshi Mall a couple of times to pick up some food, and over to the right, you can't see it from here, is Landers. So we had gotten some of our groceries there as well. I think what we're going to do in the future is probably do something a little bit different. Marcel and I are looking to maybe explore other areas of Metro Manila, maybe going to the MOA area and Pasay. The host has been super nice, and with the exception of this leaking AC, which probably needs maybe the filter change or maybe the drainage checked, I'll let her know. But other than that, this was a great unit to stay at. Nathan over there had a wonderful time in his loft bed. Hi Marcel, what did you think of our stay here?
It was very comfortable and pretty clean.
Pretty clean, yeah. And I think it's pretty convenient to a lot of different places to go.
Walkable to Mitsukoshi Mall
Yeah.
and Town Mall. Nightlife, coffee shops.
Right, and this is the area. Here's all of our luggage. We're heading out in a little bit for our flight later on tonight. And the bathroom has been super helpful. The water pressure in this place is really good, really powerful. So really enjoyed it. We really had a good time here at this particular Airbnb. Oh, by the way, took us a bit of time to figure out this washing machine, but super convenient. It was an all-in-one setup. The only thing is it's just a small capacity, so we end up having to do multiple washes. The fridge here is it's a pretty good sized fridge, very cold, and we had ice cream there, an ubi ice cream of course, and we didn't finish it, so we'll throw it away. All right, that's pretty much it for our exit tour of our place. We love the Philippines. Beautiful view. That's the Uptown Ritz residences, and we didn't get to go to Uptown Parade over there, but I did go last year and did that on my tour, my YouTube tour. So again, a beautiful view of the Mitsukoshi Mall. We're gonna be heading out to the airport very shortly here. We have a ride with my cousin who's taking us over to the airport. So talk soon.